My name's Michael Sweeney, and I'm an instructor with Survivor in the Bush Incorporated. Today I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about loading a food container. Now in the back row here, you'll see several types of containers that you may have used in the past or seen used. Dry bags, rucksacks, barrels. Picking a container is dependent on what you're going to put in it, of course. So I'm going to run through, at this point, what you put in the container and how you decide which to carry. First off, you're going to have your menu and your equipment list with you to make sure you know exactly what you have, what you're going to serve on what day, and so forth. You may choose to pack your meals in individual bags. And the bag you see here, the Ziploc bag, contains a full breakfast for 4 people. It has bacon, pancake mix, some milk for the pancake mix, and so forth. So that's the meal method. That's great if you're by yourself, but if you're traveling with a group, you very often will pack your supplies in bulk. So in your container, you're going to have a dry bag, which is the blue bag here, which you put all your dry components in, things like freeze-dried food, pasta, and so forth. And you're also going to have a wet bag, the red bag here, which would have things like condiments, juices, anything that has liquid in it, so that if it breaks, it doesn't contaminate the dry material. You also may have some frozen items, and I don't get fancy. I just use a simple zipper container that you can get at any Canadian Tire store. And I use newspapers to wrap the containers in, and I pack them all together into one container. That keeps those cold. Now, in addition to those group supplies, it's highly likely that you're going to have individual items. People may have their own snacks, and at night people are going to want to pack their toothbrush, their toothpaste, deodorant, and so forth. So I carry fishnet bags, and each individual gets one. They pack their stuff in it at night, and in the morning you can take it out so they don't get all mixed up. In addition to the food items, you're obviously going to have cooking items. Now I have a big set here, and I've used this set for up to 7 people for 7 days. If you're traveling with a smaller group, you'll obviously have fewer items. Everything that you see in that row, except for the big frying pan on the end, actually fits in the big pot. So it doesn't take up all that much space, but you'll have a nesting pot set, you'll have some utensils. I carry a water bottle separately for the kitchen, a measuring cup, and then of course cleaning supplies and some matches. Now if after you've packed your food and your cooking equipment, you have some extra space in your container, there are other things you may want to pack there, particularly later in a trip where the food is diminished. You want to put your first aid kit in there if there's room, your water purification system, and the gadgets you're going to use to hang the barrel or the container, and in this case rope, carabiners, and a rag. You'll also have a few other odds and ends, a clothesline, and then the tarp that all this is sitting on, which you can use to build a kitchen shelter if you have to. Now, having looked at that, which container is best for you? The dry bag, the rucksack, or the barrel? Well, it depends. The dry bag is very good, but unfortunately it has a couple of limitations. One is it provides no protection against crushing. So if you have bread or soft fruits like bananas, they'll get crushed. They also are not any protection at all against animals, even small animals like mice and squirrels. So that's a limitation of that. The rucksack is very comfortable to carry, but you have to remember it's not wet. It's not waterproof. So if you're going to carry a rucksack, a normal backpack, it's best to line it with one of those dry bags. It's got a little better protection against small animals, and it's a little bit more protective against moisture. The best option in many cases is a hard-sided barrel that will accommodate all of these items. The limitation on a barrel is they are a little bit heavier, and as you consume your food load, you don't get any extra space. The container is still just as big on the last day it was on the first. This is a 60-liter barrel. They come in several smaller sizes. I'd suggest if you're traveling in a bigger group, you might want a 61. If you're traveling in a smaller group, you may want a couple of small barrels and split the load between the barrels. And that's much easier to raise at night, and also it's much easier to pack into canoes, the small barrels. So that's just a few thoughts on what you want to put in your food container. Obviously, this is a big set for a big expedition. If you're going with a small group, you're going to want to trim it down and customize it to your specific needs.